Good to see everybody. Bonnie, good to see you. Chantel, Bart, Sharon, AJ, always good. And then we got Chris. We'll let Chris introduce himself. This is first time on the call. So, Chris, if you want to introduce yourself, tell us what you talk about. Got 60 seconds. Go ahead and do it.
Hi guys, thanks for having me. I literally just got off a call for the first time speaking with Ron about 30 minutes ago or whatnot. But yeah, in short, in 2003, I was sentenced to 144 years in prison. So I'm not even supposed to be here on this call. So I'm grateful to be here, and that's my message that I carry into a lot of the rooms. I ended up doing 16 years, 11 months behind bars, but came home, was fortunate enough to open up a vocational school with my wife, founded a nonprofit, and we've just been doing a lot of outreach work in the community, but also got some presence through social media as well with my story, and glad to be here.
That's cool, man. 144 years to turn that into 16 is incredible. 16 is still a long time, but it ain't as long as 144. Just saying. It ain't as long as 144. So, Chris, we celebrate your freedom with you, my brother, and we want to help you to prevent some other kids from going through what you went through. If you want to take some time, I know all these folks, and I think they would be very interested in understanding how unfortunate your situation was, so that they can kind of, you know, be a bit empathetic to for other kids.
Yeah, so man, I was somebody that had never gotten in trouble before. And at 19, I had enlisted at 17 in the United States Air Force. Um, grew up in Chicago, and went home. Didn't last in the Air Force. I wasn't ready. Got to fight and all that, whatever. Went to Virginia where family was at, and just hooked up with my cousin. And I mean, now looking back, I was being manipulated. He was older. I was the youngest relative, the youngest cousin. Got in the car with him one night. Him and some friends of his robbed the place with a BB gun. I never left the vehicle, never touched the BB gun. Nobody was even physically harmed, but nonetheless, I ended up with a 144-year prison sentence. Um, and yeah, that was the start of it all. So yeah, that was that.
Wait, what part of Virginia were you in?
I was in Fredericksburg,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, my family's from Norfolk, so that's not that
No.
far away. But man, it's unfortunate, man. Good to see you on the other side. Good to see you, working to change people's lives now, and you know, running a business, being an entrepreneur. I think maybe a week ago I was talking about my brother-in-law who, had spent some time in prison, but the things that he's doing now. I mean, he has a barbecue sauce in 500 stores. He's doing public speaking now in different schools. He opened up a halfway house where when people get out, they can come stay. I think he has 40 beds in that recovery center. So I understand the life, man. I have a lot of empathy, and I'm always looking for examples. Like, hey, if I got one example of somebody who could do it, you know, use that person as the example, as the roadmap, and so I know how impactful he's been with the kids that he works with. So I'm definitely optimistic. So keep going. Any other wins? Bonnie, what's up? Sharon, you passed 4 yet? You was at 4 this morning. What, you passed 4?
Hey, I passed 4.
Oh, there we
I'm
go.
at,
There we go.
I'm at 8. And I'll be telling you right now. Yeah, that's right, Bart. You just keep laughing your buns off over there, friend. I'll be telling you right freaking now. I am so excited because in the past, I was a therapeutic riding instructor for an equine therapy national called NARA. Now it's called Path International. And I pitched to them because I threw in my equine knowledge, and that came up, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, we're so excited to hear from you. We have the national thing in Denver. You got to apply, and we have the online things, blah blah blah." So yeah, whoop whoop. My
How
first,
incredible is that? That is a big freaking deal, Bonnie.
this is a big deal. My first one with you guys that can't wait to talk to me.
Look
Yahoo!
at that. Look at that.
I'm
Look at
excited.
that.
I'm excited.
Wait till you get to 16.
Wait till then, and then wait till 29. Then
I'm just teasing your body, but no, it's
you're always breaking my balls, Ron. I know.
look, come on, man. That's you should be worried when I don't say anything.
Hey,
Right?
right? I have
You
three
should be
older
worried.
brothers. I got you. Yeah,
That's it. The opposite of love is indifference.
that's right.
Right. So I ain't indifferent. So that means I
Mm-mm.
love you. I'm glad to see you making progress. You and Sharon. It's the
Yep.
race. Y'all racing down there. What
You go,
where you
Sharon.
at, Sharon?
Woo.
Where you
You
at,
go.
Sharon? You catching up with 8 tonight?
I'm catching up.
It's
Go,
so
Sharon.
funny. Bart, what's going on, man?
Well, I got to come back at Bonnie just a little bit and tell her that I actually helped co-found what's called the Armed Forces Equestrian Center. So I know a little something, something. So I'm glad you're out there doing that work, and I think it aligns with your background. When I heard that, I would say deep dive into that particular space because it's a twofold. So we talk about IP. So now you're getting that audience to come ride horses for therapy, in addition to you talking about anxiety and all that type of stuff. So that just kind of went through me when you said that. But I know a little something about horses though, Bonnie. But it was a good jab.
Hey.
And for Christopher, I applaud you, man. I mean, I had to pause my camera and get up and go get my book that I'm reading called The Guardians here. Obviously, this is fiction by John Gresham, and yours is true. But I can't wait to get to the end to see what happens here. Where I would imagine this guy's going to get exonerated. Where he's in there for a whole bunch of years, and we'll see what happens in the end. But I'm proud of you. Go out there and knock it out. You're going to be an inspiration automatically because a whole bunch of people need your message.
Thank you.
So one of the things that we talk about all the time on this call is that speaking can be a lonely business, especially if you don't know any other speakers, you don't know the struggle that other speakers are going through, you don't know the techniques that they're doing. You're trying to start this business by yourself. You've never been in the business. So, this is always a welcome place for anybody, whether they're a SpeakerHub customer or not. You're always welcome here just to come and be like, yo, man, today was tough, right? Or, man, it's been a tough month, but I'm sticking to it. Or, a guy got on the morning call today, and he talked about how he got cursed out in the email on the first email he sent from our system. And he said somebody just cussed him out and made him feel so bad. But luckily he had sent so many that he got 6 positive responses and 6 bookings afterwards. So he was like, man, if I'd have just sent that one and that's all I got, I would have hated you. But he's like, but luckily I got 6 other ones right afterwards where people wanted to talk with me and they want me to come and share my story. So we know that you can win by force, right? That's something that's how I've won in life. I've won by just outworking everybody, by outlasting everybody, by outserving everybody that's tried to compete with me. Now, I may not be the hardest worker in the world, but I could be the hardest worker in my space. So, I'm a firm believer that hard work compounds, especially when it comes to skill building, right? And speaking is a skill. All of us have been speaking for as long as we've been speaking. We've been talking our whole life, but you may have only been speaking for 6 months. You may have only been, and speaking is delivering a message with the intent to impact positively. That's the difference between speaking and talking, right? My little daughter talks, and every once in a while she give a speech, and I'd be looking at her like, you better be glad you 3. And then you'd be thinking like, who taught you this in the first place, right? So that's the difference. So we've been talking our whole lives, but we may not have been speaking our whole lives. So we should work on building that skill. No different than dribbling a basketball, riding a horse, learning to jump with a horse or whatever. I've never did any equine stuff, so I don't really know much about equestrian, but I can tell you that it takes talent. I may be the same height as a jockey, but I ain't no jockey. I'm only 5'5", but maybe that was my calling. I missed my calling as a jockey. But moral of the story is, it's a skill. So if we keep working at the skills, even at 7:00 on a Friday night when everybody else may be doing something else, you all are here trying to get better. So are there any topics you all want to talk about. I know everybody else was on the call earlier, so you know, you heard what we talked about how to get leads from podcasts again this morning, and how do you generate leads or tell your 10-second, 30-second, and 3-minute story. I think it's probably one of the best frameworks for storytelling that I've ever come across. And then what I also want to talk about is 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 quarters, right? So you can get booked on a podcast in 2 weeks. You reach out today, they book you tomorrow, they record it next week. You end up, it's going to be live in 2 weeks. A local association gig is 2 months. They probably already got this month booked. They may have next month booked, but they'll probably get you 2 months down the road if they're interested, right? So that's 2 weeks, 2 months. Conferences are 2 quarters. So a quarter is 3 months. So it's going to be 6 months down the road before that conference comes up. And as you're pitching, if you remember that, you don't get disheartened because you're like, man, I sent a bunch of conference pitches. Yeah, but you're pitching for December. They may not make the decision until June, right? Or you reached out to associations. They may not make a decision until 2 weeks from now, or they may have 3 other people that they're considering. So you got to let them go through their board meetings and their decision making on who they're going to bring in for next month through their Robert's Rules of Orders. So any other topics, you know?
On Monday, I go down to a production studio so I can do a TV show in person. So they sent me the information. Thank you. They sent me the information, and they were like, don't be nervous about the cameras. And if you have your team, you can only bring 5 people. And I'm like, I don't even have 2 people to bring from my team. I'm like, what are they talking about? So I'm like, man, I gotta try to find some team members. I need to squabble up so we can go down there and represent. And
Hey,
I'm really excited. It's really no different from what I do right here in the house. It's just gonna be some cameras, and I'm gonna be on set, but that's like really big. So I'm really excited about that. Try to get some good pictures and just go from there.
no, super dope. Well, you don't have 5 team members yet,
No, not yet.
right? And it's all a matter of time. It's just a yet. I ain't there yet. But yeah, I mean, it's huge opportunities out here, guys. I met with someone earlier today, and it was wild because was it today? Yesterday, I do too many meetings. Yesterday, I'm like, dude, this guy's like, yeah, I did 120-mile triathlon. He was like, you ever heard of David Goggins? He was like, I do crazier stuff to him. He went from one end of Israel to the other end during the war on a bike and running. He was like, I was running in between tanks. It's all documented. And I mean, I was like, holy smokes, right? He's telling these stories. And he did the hardest race in human history. It was so difficult that they won't put it on anymore. He's only 3 people that ever crossed the finish line, right? And last night I'm talking to him, and he's on FaceTime while we're talking. I'm like, man, where you at? He got like this light on his head and something like that. He like, yeah, we climbing a mountain in Canada, one of the tallest mountains in Canada right now. But I needed to hop on this call because I wanted to talk to you about getting speaking gigs. I'm like, holy smokes, this is freaking bananas. So, every time I think I'm doing something hard, somebody else show up and be like, hold my beer. I got you. I totally got you. So I thought that was incredible. And then this morning I had a conversation with a guy who broke both of his feet, but he climbed Mount Everest while doing it. So I've met some incredible people, and it's some incredible stories out there. What were you saying, Ange? Need one person who has access
No,
to the people.
I'm talking to
Oh,
Chantel.
my
I should
bad,
be,
my bad.
yeah.
But
Sorry.
I thought you sent that to me. My bad. No,
No.
no, it's good. Keep going. Keep doing your thing. But yeah, I thought it was very interesting to hear some of the stories and some of the things that that we kind of take for granted. And I'm just thinking like, oh man, like, okay, nah. Nah. Hold on, let me see if I can find this here. This one guy was wild. 1 second. This dude, Abalash, his name is Abalash Tommy. And let me see if I can share the screen here. This dude was, man, incredible. Abalash Tommy. Abalash Tommy. Right? So he's a naval officer. He's one of 9 people that has sailed the longest route around the world, around all the continents, by himself with no internet access or anything. And this photo that you see here is him in the hospital after 16 days at sea. He fell and broke his back and was adrift for 4 days before they came and got him. All right. And he was greeted by the president, and he's doing speaking now. And I mean, what a freaking story. But he fell off the mast of his boat. I think he fell from up here trying to fix something straight down by himself. And doing this is what he was doing when he fell. Right? Which is crazy. Like, but it just shows you that the power of your voice. You just never know the responsibility that we have to inspire other people. And I'm always humbled by the fact that these people come to me and say, I need you to amplify what I'm doing. And yeah, it's freaking bananas that, that this is, yeah. I mean, so don't ever diminish what you think you're doing, because there's somebody like who's like, holy crap, and you just don't know it. You just don't get to hear the holy crap, right? But that's what they're thinking in mind. And the other guys, Robbie Cogiton, I mean, just inspiring stories, man. And yeah, Robbie has a crazy story of climbing Mount Everest and things of that sort. He's been in all types of magazines and stuff. But look at this. He had an accident in 2006, which resulted in him breaking both ankles, right? I mean, just bananas. But this is where speaking can take you. Speaking can introduce your story to the world. What somebody thought would be your downfall could be the thing that, saves other people's lives. So just, keep going. It's a huge, huge opportunity.
Ron, you know that guy you was talking about yesterday about Fire Nation?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, his name is John Lee Dumas.
Right. I was looking at his information, and to be on his podcast is 3,500. So you know how you were talking about how he's made all this money at the top. I'm like, that's how he's made all that money.
Oh yeah, but I mean, everybody that I know that's going on there has made more than $3,500. That's why they keep going back. Kamanzi loves that show. Odell loves that show. Why? Because if you got coaching or training, he has a group of entrepreneurs. So if you have the leadership training or whatever you're planning on offering, sometimes that investment is worth it, because again, that's why I always say he's giving you a referral to that audience, right? Being on a podcast is a referral. So I know Bonnie because she was referred to me by a guy named Gary, who was referred to me by another person, right? So by Marty Dickinson. So it's these different degrees of relationships, but it shows the power of a referral, because we wouldn't have Bonnie, and Bonnie wouldn't have the equestrian thing if it wasn't for Gary making that introduction. Now, the funny thing is I met with them 4 times. They asked me every question in the world. What was my blood type? What size shoes I wear? I'm like, what this got to do with sending emails, guys? Like, they're like, but we done heard all this stuff before. I'm like, dude, but you ain't never worked with me before. Like, what are y'all talking about? Well, somebody else said that they could do this and do that. I'm like, well, don't buy it. Just come to the meetings and hear for yourself, right? But, several other people trusted us, and, the rest is history. But that's the
really,
value of a referral. You just
And
never
Ron,
know.
you know I was worth it. You know I'm worth it. All
Oh,
you have to go
100%.
through, get me on here.
Hey, look. Let me tell you, it's 100% worth it. Why? Because there are a lot of people out there who have anxiety who need this message. And if showing proof, which is what we do anyway, is the price I have to pay in order to get more people on stage, I'm willing to do it every day. So yeah, no, we're here. Any other topics, questions? Anybody else want to talk about something? I'm tired of talking. Doing this 3 times a day. There's a lot of stuff to try to come up with. Who else want to teach something? Teach something. Shoot, teach us how to ride a horse, Bonnie. Teach us something. Good Lord. Sharon, teach us some self-care stuff. I ain't doing too much self-care. I start at 6:30 in the morning, and this is my last meeting for the day. So I've been in this chair from 6:30 up until 8 when we get done in 35 minutes.
Oh my God. Do you take movement breaks, Ron?
But yeah, I get up like every half hour. So I have like 10 minutes in between meetings.
Okay. Is that
I
would be
got a
terrible
bathroom
for
back
you.
there, so I go back there, you gotta go to the bathroom. I go get some coffee,
Yeah. Yeah, you got to keep it going, man. The
You keep
title of my
going.
next newsletter coming out next week is Sitting is the New Smoking.
Yep, sure is.
Yeah, I'm writing about that lack of movement
Oh
situation that
yeah.
get
Well,
in.
you know what? I got a standing desk, but
That's great. Yeah.
but we're changing this format. So um we're changing the format of this. I've been doing 15 to 20 meetings back to back for the last 2 weeks to try to understand some of the new things we're doing. And we're going to replace those 15 meetings with just 3 of these. Because I think it's one thing for someone to talk to me, but it's another thing to be on with the 8 of you all on a Friday night, or the 30 or 40 people that come in the daytime. So they can just see, like, look, this is a different breed of people that are actually doing the work. They're not just talking about it. Bart, what's up?
I'll try and give you a bit of reprieve. Otherwise, I wouldn't have said nothing. But I have 2 podcasts coming up, and what's significant about them is one is a law enforcement centric podcast. I was declined from a law enforcement centric podcast before, and I'm like, no, but this means next. But because of how they responded, it was like, well, we already talked about this topic already. First of all, I'm in England. I'm like, dude, I listen to all your stuff and everybody's virtual. What does being in England have to do with it? Absolutely nothing. Like, who do you think I am? Anyway, so he goes, oh, we talked about this before and blah, 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 blah. I'm fine with no. Don't try to appease me. Just say no. No's fine. I've got a no before. I'm good with no's. Anyway, and then the next one was, I told you about this one, where the guy said he starts off, I'm not sure if you're my competitor or not, but anyway, let's talk. So they already threatened. So hey, you can thank for that, and I thank you for that, because I was because of the flywheel, I was only doing the inbound. But now that I'm outbound, my LinkedIn is covered with everybody peeking in, like, who the hell is this? He making a whole bunch of noise over here.
There it is.
But ask Ron, he'll tell you who I am. So you started all the SpeakerHub, the whole thing started all that noise, where it's like, where the heck this dude coming from? Look, you see what I'm doing? Where he come from? So
Exactly.
now it's just crowded with that. So book one with a law enforcement, book one with a very reputable security place, security business place, which that other one that said it thought I was a competitor was a security place. So this one that I booked, will ring circles around the other one. So that's how God works. It's like, don't worry about that, Bart. But I was already knowing next. But anyway, I just wanted to share that, since you needed a law.
Well, no. I mean, look, you hit it right on the head. I was listening to a guy earlier today, and he was saying that his business made $7 million a year, and they were trying to run. He was going to get into a different business, and he said, well, how much you doing in advertising on this? And the guy said, oh, $3,000 a month. You know, I think we kind of maxed out. He was like, mm, yeah, don't do anything until you get up to 100,000 a month on ads on this topic. And the guy was like, what? He was like, dude, 3,000 a month ain't nothing for the industry that you're in. But you're so proud that you made $7 million spending 3,000. What can you do with 100,000 in advertising? Invest more in telling more people about what you're doing before you go and try something new because you're bored. And that's one thing that I really admire about business is that whoever can be bored the longest wins, right? It's like a magnifying glass. If you can stay focused the longest, you beat everybody because they're coming out with something new and they're doing this and they're not doing that and they're not doing this. You know, we got one focus at SpeakerHub: get more people booked on stages by any means necessary. Sometimes my team think I'm working on 8 other things, but they don't see the whole picture I got in my mind. They only know their division and their department. And man, you always giving us something else. But every 2 months or so, I have to show them the bigger picture. And it calms them down. They're like, okay, we're going to be all right, right? But that focus is really, really, really important. So if you're new to outreach, you know, you will look back and say, holy crap, I didn't realize that I had this much potential. I wish I would have done more. So there's a great story of a guy's on a horse and he's riding his horse. Since we talk about equestrian, he's riding his horse at night and 2 people come up on him with a light and he could see that they had swords and guns. And they told him, they said, get off your horse. He's scared. He like, let me get off my horse. I don't want these people to kill me. They told him, let the horse go, reach down and fill your pockets up with rocks. Put as many rocks in your pockets as you can because we don't want you running behind us chasing. Fill the front pockets and the back pockets. Fill them up. And when we tell you to walk the other way, you walk the other way. Tomorrow, you will be both happy and regretful equally. And he's like, man, I don't want these people to kill me. Let me just put these stupid rocks in my pocket. And I can't put too many of them in there. I just got to fake like I can't walk so I can keep walking because these things hurt my muscles, you know? So he keeps walking. He just going to walk, and then the sun comes up. He no longer hears the horses behind him, but he don't have his horses with him. And he's like, cool, they gone. Let me just take these stupid rocks out of my pocket. So he starts to unpack his pockets, and they were full of diamonds. And he was happy that he had picked up some, but he was equally regretful that he didn't grab more. That is pitching. I'm happy that you sent 8, but hopefully you get so many deals in the future. You're like, man, I should have did this a long time ago. I don't know what I was saving these things for. That's what opportunity is for most of us. You know, we wish we had a bigger opportunity, but sometimes we don't give it our all. They told him to put as many as he could in his pocket. Had he known they were diamonds, he'd have took them pants off and filled up them pants legs. He'd have filled up his boots. He'd have filled up everything else. But you can't go back and undo it. There are a lot of things I wish I would have done in my 20s now, but I didn't have an example to tell me to do those things. Now at 46, I'm learning, oh, right? So one of them is kids. I wish I'd have had kids in my early 20s now. Now I got a 3-year-old at 46 and an 8-year-old, but I wish I'd have had them in my 20s. Why? Because they would be adults now. They would be working in the business with me, you know. But I was told kids were, you know, time bombs. They're going to explode. That's a kid. Don't you have no kid? It's going to destroy your whole life. Man, my daughter eat 2 chicken fingers and 5 French fries. I could afford it that. She ain't that expensive, you know. She cheap, you know. But that's how now I have those regrets. Now, I'm glad I got my kids. I'm glad I'm alive and I'm healthy. But, you know, I wish I would have put more wisdom stones in my pocket versus getting advice from people who were trying to protect me, but they didn't really understand that, you know, that they were probably hurting me in some ways. So I don't know. You never know. I mean, are you ever a good parent? I mean, parenting is like these kids didn't come with no book. They all different. You guess them 90% of the time. Here's your question of whether or not you're a good parent. Did they die? If they ain't die, you a good dad. I'm just saying. If they still alive, you won. I mean, seriously, like you just like, man, long as they don't die, we good, you know? But any other questions? Anything else? That diamond story is real. We always wish we'd have did more. Man, I should have did it. Man, I should have shot my shot. I should have did that business. I should have tried a little harder. But once the shot is gone, it's gone, you know? So
Oh, Ron, I'm not dead yet, hon. And you're missing the math. So let me help you with the math. Yesterday was 4. Today, 8. That's double. Now, if you know anything about investment, you might know what that could look like in the near future if that trajectory continues.
oh yeah, no. I got it. Let's talk about that. I like that. If you had a choice between $100,000 a day or a penny a day double, which one would you take? For a month. You got a month. A penny a day double for a month or $100,000 a day. Which one would you take, Sharon?
Right off the bat, I would say, you said 100,000.
100,000 a day.
That's what I would say right off the bat, but I know there's something else to it, but that's my
No,
first
no,
answer.
This ain't a trick question.
Mhm.
Which one would you do?
100,000.
100,000. Okay. All right, cool. And anybody else? Chris, which one you take? You taking 100,000 a day? Taking a penny a day double?
I'm taking the penny.
Okay. Ange?
The penny.
AJ?
I'm gonna do the 100,000.
Okay.
Oh,
100,000, right? Bart?
Taking 100,000 and cashing out.
100,000 every day. You get 100,000 every day for the month.
no,
Each
no.
day.
I'm cashing
Each
out.
day you get another $100,000. So you get 100,000 a day, 100,000 tomorrow, 100,000 the next day.
I know how much this is.
Huh?
I know how much this is.
Okay. I'm gonna come over here. Right? So
10 million.
No. That's not the answer. We're gonna go to Chat GPT. Right? Let's do this. If I started
Penny a day.
with a penny and doubled it each day for a month. Ingreso. ¿Qué necesitas? Dime, estoy en una cita. Ok, después mi cita. Hasta luego. Sí.
Here's what month it is.
Right? 1.3 million. Right? So the answer to that is that depends on the month.
Oh.
So it's always in the details. Everybody focuses on the thing, but they don't ask the next question. In February, it's 2.8 to 1.3. You're correct. Those who picked 100 grand, you won. What about the penny a day doubled for months with 30 days. Right? So now you're at 5 million. And what's this group at? They're only at 3 million. So if you go beyond February, you win. If it's a leap year, you still lose in February, right? In the 29 days, right? And then, of course, as Bonnie said, if there's 31 days, right? So I like to ask the question that way with the month to kind of throw a loophole in the system to say everybody can be right depending on the rules and when we're measuring. Does that make sense? So Bonnie is right that doing 2 and then 4 and then 8, I want to see when she doubles up to 400 a day. Yeah, exactly. Look at that. Look. Yeah, I want to see it on that when we get to the end of the month when she got to send 300 in a day because it's doubled up to that point, right? Now, I'm joking about it, but I'm serious because that works as long as we're measuring progress right now. But when you got to send 300 in a day, then that theory goes out the window. But high five on the progress. I'm glad that you're doing it. I'm glad that you're consistent. 1% improvement every day for a year is 3,700% improvement over the year. It actually ends up, if you compound it, it's like 4,400%, which means 44x just by getting 1% better every day, which is bananas, like super duper duper bananas. So just keep up the good work, guys. I mean, I don't have a lot to say. It's a Friday night. You know, people about to relax and chill out. I got 8 meetings tomorrow. So, you know, I'm gonna still be working tomorrow, but that's part of it. That's what I signed up for. I don't complain about the horse that I packed. You see, I keep running with the horse theme tonight. You see me working? I'm working on my speeching and my speaking, not speeching, but on my speaking and storytelling. Because I got a surprise for y'all later this year. I ain't told y'all about it yet, but it's coming up later this year. I got a surprise I'm working on, and it's gonna be one that's incredible. So any other questions as we're in 18 minutes to go? Sharon, what you be looking at that computer? Sharon always looking at this computer over here. What the heck are you looking at? Every daggone meeting, she over here doing this. You playing Tetris?
No, actually, I'm looking at SpeakerHub.
No, okay. I'm like, what is she looking at? Every meeting, y'all ever notice her camera be right here. She be looking at this one. I'm like, what is she looking at? Like, what is she looking at? You know?
I don't have a question, Ron. I just want to pretty much just give you and your team just your flowers and your prompts now. One, because I'm new in this game, and just by attending here for the past, several weeks, couple of months, it really has helped me. Because people were telling me, say, "Hey, you need to do this, you need to do that," but it wasn't. Everything just wasn't connecting. But then when I step here, especially when you're talking about numbers, because it's like, how you can know something? Like, yeah, I know I need to do it, but then you don't understand it. But like even like this week when you were talking and you're like, oh, I'm not trying to get on anybody. But the thing is, like me, I need to hear that. I need to hear that, but it also lets me know it's kind of like the compound interest. Keep doing it, keep doing it. Don't look at the outcome. You're going to get it. We need the numbers. And like for me being new in business too, like generally you know it a little bit, but I don't know it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So just by you being detailed and just repeating, that helps me. So one, just thank you for everything that you do, Angela do, your team do, and I really appreciate you.
Oh yeah, no, we're here for you. I mean, we made a commitment to some of y'all. You have lifetime accounts, so we made lifetime commitments to helping you spread that message. But the outward commitment to you all is one thing, but the inward commitment to myself that I wanted to be the opposite of the crazy rap music, right? Even though I like some of it, some of them beats be dope, but we gotta balance the life out a little bit, right? We gotta balance it out. You can't be gold all of my chains all day. It gotta be, you gotta balance it out a little bit. So, Sharon, that means a lot because we try to show up every day, and sometimes, as that kid said, I be motherfucking tired. I be tired. I be tired, but I be like, I gotta go do it. I told them I was gonna be here. I'm gonna be here. So I show up, and when I can't, Ange steps in my place. So I'm grateful for that, and thanks, Ange, for all the work you do with everybody else, so I can do these meetings. Because man, we got a bunch of independent people that just be doing stuff on our team. They just be going. They will build a whole business inside the business. I'm like, who did this? Like, who told y'all to even do this? And I'm not kidding. Like, this has actually happened. Like, they were like, we're going to start an agency. I got an email this morning that said, we're going to start an agency where we're going to do everything for people. We're going to make their videos. I said, oh, hell no. We're going to have this meeting to let y'all know we're not going down this. He was like, but we don't have to call it SpeakerHub. It's going to be a separate business. No. Like, wait, I'm going to show y'all. That actually came to me I got that text message at 7 o'clock this morning. And I said, look, bring this on this call because we ain't about to go through this. Let me show you this. Watch this. This is so funny. Let me make sure this, let me see what's on here. Close my windows on my daggone messages. But look at this. This is so funny. This is Maria. Maria is the nicest person ever in the history of nice people. Quick questions. Do booking agents provide product packages for speakers or only speaking gigs? Is there anybody offering this kind of services for speakers with the website, the frameworks, the books, the courses, the video contents, and the outreach? Where the speaker only has the speaker only speaks and the agent manages. Yeah, but that's an exclusive agency. What's your thoughts? Well, I'm thinking about your personal website, and it's possible to replicate the booking agent model. Oh, hell no, we're not doing that. And, we could use this system and that system. And since we already work with all those product packages for speakers that don't want to deal with inbound, man, all they need to do is approve. But now I got to be managing. Yeah, I think that's a great idea, but not really what I want us to focus on. But no, it's not for SpeakerHub. It's a separate service, like Lexus and Toyota. No. So sometimes our team gets going, and I love it because they're all independent and they're used to running their own business before they came over to us. And, that's the team I wanted to build. I wanted to build a team of freelancers that were former freelancers, but they were looking for a home where they could work with other team members. So everybody on our team were running their own business before we brought them in. And boy, do they get to work. And I'd be like, hey, we ain't doing that. Luckily, I ain't gave them credit cards yet because they would have already set that shit up and I'd have been hot. But shout outs to Maria. Maria is the designer that designs all of the websites, all of the things you see, the software. She designs everything one window at a time. So if you ever think that software just appears, it doesn't. Someone has to manually draw out every single pixel on that page before you see it. So shout out to Maria for the work you do, but yeah, leave the business development to me. We're not doing this. All right, so I'll show you all. Go ahead, Bonnie, with your question or comment, and then I'm going to debut something that Maria sent to me tonight for final approval that nobody else has seen besides me, her, and Gustavo. And we're going to show you all the future of the SpeakerHub speaker page tonight. It has made it to final approval at about 4:30 this afternoon. So go ahead, Bonnie.
Go first, because I'm going to sign off after my comment. Please, I want to see that too.
Okay, cool.
Thanks.
So the current speaker page is focused around a lot of words. The new speaker page will be designed around showing your clients. Imagine being able to upload your client logos. just like you do on your webpage. So we know where you've spoken, right? Your bio is right up front. We know your fee right off the top. We know your location. They can reach out to you directly. This is a video that pops up and plays your video of your speaker reel, right? So we can talk about what types of events you're available for: webinars, podcasts, press, long sessions, short sessions. Are you global, North America, South America? What languages do you speak, right? All of your topics, all of that is here. But what's your signature program? And then a video of you giving a summary of your signature program. This is huge. Signature programs is going to be a game changer. Why? Because everybody has their own signature talk, but we don't know what it is until we hear it. But what if you could show? What if you could show what your signature talk is? Now, of course, you're going to get into it in different ways, but if you can give people a trial run for 2 minutes of what they're going to get and get feedback, that's what this is about, right? So then, not only can you have those things, but the biggest feature is product. The spring Pro Speaker Summit is all about product. So we want you selling your courses. We want you selling any of the things that you own, and that's your intellectual property. It needs to be in the marketplace. We don't need you building 18 different web pages and all this confusing crap. We're going to take the hassle out of that. There are your testimonials, but a lot of speakers have what? Books. Sell your books. Sell the books too. We ain't gonna argue with you about it. We want you selling your stuff. Does this make sense? We want you providing your stuff. Well, a lot of us got awards. A lot of us got achievements that we never get to see. And this is just the homepage, guys. This is where people land. If somebody lands on here and they can't be proud of the work you're doing, oh well. But you should be proud of the way that it's displayed, of the way that it tells your story, and all of that stuff. I mean, this is bananas. This right side is killer. We don't have any of this right now. Right? You know, so this is just showing the books, but what ends up happening, they're working on, this is some other stuff. I probably shouldn't show that, but you can sell your books right here inside, and people can download them, take them with them, whatever, from right here. Guess what? When they buy your books from us, unlike Amazon, we give you their email address. We're going to tell you who bought your book. Amazon don't tell you who bought your book. They just send you 35 cents on a $10 book that they sold. They made $9, you got $3 out of it. But we're going to give you all of the information on the people who are buying your stuff. Do you understand how powerful this is? This is cheating, right? So this is the home page. The next page. Well, we believe in showing your work at SpeakerHub. So we designed a whole page just showing your work, showing the events that you spoke at, each one of them, showing the podcast you've been on, showing your speaker reels and all of the things, the B-roll and all the media that you may have put together. Download your media kit. All of that is here. This is the future for speakers. Comments or feedback on the first 2 pages. What we're showing here is a preview of the rest. So we limit it to 3 things. They go across the top. It's every section that's here, but we're only going to show a preview of 3 of them on the homepage. That was the design layout. So we're in appearances where we can show you on your shows and doing what you're doing. There are your testimonials. One of the other things that we're working on is video testimonials. She hasn't illustrated those here, but a person will be able to record a video testimonial. And if they upload it to YouTube, they can post it here with your approval. Nothing goes on your page without your approval. Does that make sense? So we don't want anybody coming and spamming your page or putting obscene things, trying to embarrass you. Nothing goes on your page without your approval. We know everybody who leaves a testimonial, they have to create an account also. So we have some accountability that it's a real person and that they're not going to be doing anything negative to try to destroy you. Does that make sense? Your courses, you can put as many as you want. They're going to be here. Your books, your workbooks, your publications, whatever you're selling, you would be able to sell it. Here's an article that was written on this. Here's another article I wrote. Here's another thing I did with Kamanzi and PR pitches. All of those things will be here, right? And then guess what? You can upload your one sheet, right? You can upload your one sheet for people or your media kit for people to download. This is a game changer, guys. I'm talking about like super duper game changer. Now, she has some more slides that she has to make to show how that works, how each section works, but I could demonstrate them to you. But one of the coolest things is something called events. All of us got speaking gigs. Chantel comes on every day and tells us a new thing that she's working on, which I think is incredible. Let me show you something else though. So, Chris, hopefully you kind of understand where we're going with this. Imagine turning everything into, it's a social network, just like LinkedIn. This is LinkedIn for speakers. So now we're going to be activating in April our 10,000 organizers. Wait until they get the email saying, hey, now you got access to all 63,000 speakers in one place with easier to search profiles, easier to read, contact information, so forth and so on. But here's the one part I wanted to show over here is this thing. Let's go to Teresa's page. Teresa and all these people are fake, but you'll get the point. We've already built out the course system already, right? This saves y'all $80 a month on Udemy, or all these other places, Teachable. You come in, put in your course. It's really simple. Upload your videos, your courses, message the professor. We got chat built in, so if Bonnie want to ask AJ something particular, she can ask AJ directly. She don't have to give her personal information. She can block whoever she wants to block or whatever. You know, when I get to talking too much about her picture, she can block me for 2 weeks. She can block me for 2 weeks, you know? But you can see all of this functionality is already built. Courses on the right, you can see all of your students as the course participant, as the course owner. You can see all of your students who are in your class, who are taking those classes. The students have to register also. So you'll be able to talk with your students and run it like a real school. So anything that you're doing about re-entry and things like that, Chris, imagine being able to put those in here, right? Imagine being able to aspire other speakers that are saying, yo, I want to be like Chris. I want to be like Wallow. I want to be like Reggie. I see the vision, right? So that's all that it's about. We want to give you the tools, guys. Like all this tech stuff, I'm cool. I could have been a speaker, but if I was doing that, I couldn't do this, right? If I was doing that, I couldn't do this. It's better if I get all y'all out there. I would just been an average speaker, but I'm a hell of a developer when it comes to this type of stuff. So this is where we're going to win, right? I don't need you buying 8 different software programs. Nah, dude, just use this basic stuff. Let's just stick to the simplicity. So Bonnie, go ahead.
I absolutely love that idea of one place for it all. Maria must be a genius of setting all that stuff up. Jeez.
So you're just going to give all the credit to Maria. Cool.
All of it. And to Angela, because when I had a question today and I was like, dang, I don't want to wait till 5. I'm in the middle of doing my stuff. I text, she gets me back, takes care of me. And so it's Friday night. I'm signing off to go be with my hubby. And Ron, I want to say this to you. My people, Marty from NSA, Gary Barnes International, my business coach, Cheryl, his right hand, who probably tortured you. Yeah, okay. All those questions, we were all involved with a different speaking thing in the past, and somebody new bought it and not really happy with it, and where should we go? And I trusted them because it took me to get into them, and I'm trust with them. Tell me what's the best Okay, we'll research it. We'll get back to you because I want to invest in speaking space. It came out to be SpeakerHub and you. And then, okay, remember the anxiety history. This is a big investment for me to put a lifetime into. And I did because of that. And you took the time to call me twice and talk to me personally and answer my 5 zillion questions on text for about 2 weeks before I said yes. And now that I said yes, I ain't backing out and I ain't slowing down and I'm in to win.
Well,
So
we got you. We know
thanks.
that. Look, there was no doubt at all.
Thank
There
you.
was no doubt at all. So we're pushing you, and you, man, it's been huge. You already got booked. Look, you found something in your space, and you haven't even asked Bart how many other equine people he may know in the military. That's a direct relationship right here that you don't even
Yes.
got to pitch. Just Bart said he started the military equine club or whatever. So there you go. Make it happen.
Right there in Colorado Springs. So I think you're Colorado, right?
Yeah, I'm just north of Denver.
There you go.
Yeah, they're in
Fine.
Colorado Springs. That's a big deal. So there you
Yeah.
go.
See?
All right. Well,
Oh,
guys, this was
Thank you.
Bonnie. I'll let you go. Thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate it. Gustavo built all of the core stuff that we see here with Maria's design. So a lot of hats off to Gustavo. He almost pooped his pants today. When we told him the responsibility, he was like, oh no, oh no, like the little monkey on
Mr.
Instagram.
Ron, Mr. Ron. That is a lot of pressure, Mr. Ron.
Yeah, that's it. He calls me Mr. Ron. I don't know why he calls me that. Right. But good to see everybody. Any other questions? Chris, what you think, man? You feel like you're at home? Feel like you found your people?
It's always good to find community and tribe and just support and somebody that's coming in, trying to learn, how to scale this thing out. I feel good. It's been a good day one for me. I'm glad to
All right,
connect.
man. Welcome aboard. We always say if you come back twice, we got you. So if
Yeah.
we see you back next week, we got you. We know you in. All right.
For
Well,
sure.
Guys, I'm gonna go hang out with my family. Good to see everybody. I'll see you all on Monday. Talk to you later.